Back to the Sad Dad Games podcast. Today we will be getting back into Expedition 33, and we will pick up from the prologue and try to push all the way to Esquie, which we all know is everybody's favorite character. I'm Shan.
I'm Eric.
I'm Tucker.
And I'm Lundy.
We'll see if we get all the way to Esquie. We tend to like to talk a lot, so
Yeah.
we'll see how far we get. Yeah.
We're loquacious. There, I did it.
Super loquacious.
I did the thing that everybody hates.
It's okay. You were just being loquacious, and that's what makes you a huge amalgam.
That's it. Okay. Well, we enter a foggy, desaturated, and almost eerily cosmic liminal-like beach space, probably from Death Stranding. That's where we're at right
It's
now.
definitely liminal and beach. It's Death Stranding.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I thought too. As I was typing my notes, I was trying to find a different way to describe what was happening without using the word beach, because we had just finished playing Death Stranding 2, and I felt like I had used the word beach a million times, that it meant something different to me now. Like,
That's right. There's a reverberating knocking sound hitting as a Dutch angled jump cuts past to increase the tension, revealing to Expedition 33 what appears to be an opulent and austere older man dressed in Expedition Deco suit, staring them all down, notably with an iconic scar down his right eye. Alan is surprised by his age. He must have survived the gommage. Without a word, this man decapitates Alan. His kappa is detated.
His kappa was detated.
yeah, how this scene kicks off is awesome. It's just like this incredible. It kicks all the ass. It's just like this incredible building of tension, and then there's just this
directing.
Yeah, amazing direction. It just this like sense of like, what is going on, and then the guy's like, "You're so old. How like did you survive the gommage? Which expedition are you from?" And then just
Yeah, he does like the samurai just the thing and just cuts his head off. You guys know what I'm talking about? Where it's like super fast?
it's the classic like anime chop where it just like
Fun fact, just side quick little detour. But that samurai thing of like where they slash really quickly and it's a delay and then the blood splurts. I forget which samurai movie it is, but like that was an unintentional, like that was an accident that like shaped the genre, because like one of the special effects guys was like, "Hey, this is going to look really cool." And he like ran some like tubes of like fake blood through so that they could like, do the slashing motion, and then he would hit a thing and it would spray everywhere, but for whatever reason the spray was delayed. And so there was the slash and then the spray. And it was like completely by accident, but reshaped the entire like samurai movie genre.
Yeah.
That could have been a blooper.
It was in a Akira Kurosawa film in 1962.
Yes.
He's a prolific.
Kurosawa.
Kurosawa is a huge like old-timey samurai.
Oh, he's the one that did
kung fu movie.
The movie that A Bug's Life was based
Seven
on.
Samurai.
What's it called? Seven Samurai. Yeah, that movie is awesome.
And the movie was
A little
Senjuro.
boring, but awesome.
So yeah, Akira Kurosawa. The film was called Senjuro, and the actor was named. I'm not going to pronounce names. I'm so bad at that. I only knew Akira Kurosawa because I've said that one before.
We need a full episode of Eric just pronouncing.
Just a super cut. Yeah, it'd be like 10 minutes of me butchering everybody's names. So here, we'll just add to it. It's Tatsuya Nakadai. Nakadai.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
think that was
Eric, but please stop. Okay. Well, anyway, after this scene and him kappa detating Alan, this, within a second, turns into Monty Python and the Holy Grail and the little white rabbit scene, right? Just, they even say it. They say the words, "Run away! Run away!" And these guys' little gnashing teeth just jumping everywhere. All right, so in the fog of war, we come across some cosmic hand-headed clicking beasts that confront Gustav. He freezes and he gets snatched.
Yeah, also, can we talk about on the beach, the hand-headed things? And I was like, did you just like copy all of Death Stranding's homework? Or like, was
It's
this...
exactly that. Yeah, why hands? Because Death Stranding is very deliberate about using hands, so they have to be symbolic. It's very uncanny. It's not necessarily by definition like body horror, but it's unconventional and
It's right on the line. It feels
right
it's
on
like
the line.
it's upsetting
it's surreal,
to look at.
That's the word. It's
Yeah.
surreal. I don't know. But yes, so in Death Stranding they use hands because it's like the most important way to establish connection with people is what
High fives.
yes is
Yeah.
what
So this man
Kojima
is
was
just trying to
going
make
for.
friends.
Yeah, that's what that's
Yeah.
right.
And the beasts are just trying to
Um,
make friends. They're trying to connect.
This man is just trying to reach out and he doesn't know how to express himself.
Yeah, I mean, he reached out with a sword a little too fast, accidentally decapitated somebody. He's a friend.
The camera cut away. You didn't get to see him go, no, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. We don't know this man's motivations. Does he just wait on the beach and is he stopping all expeditions? Do they ever make it past this point? I don't know. I don't like, a lot of us have finished this game. I don't like to deliberate about things that we know are going to be revealed. I like to more focus on like lore and design and things like that and experiences that we've
It's
had.
me. Shan's talking about me. I haven't finished the game yet. Yeah.
Well, and for people that are playing along with us and haven't finished the game, I want them to not have things spoiled. That's really the point.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also due to his age and due to him wearing the suit, did he survive the gommage? Did he hack it somehow? Did the painter spare him? Questions that we can ask.
Does
but
the
we can't
gommage
have answered.
happen on this island thing they're on? Yeah. A lot
Yeah.
of questions.
I don't know. Nobody could. I don't know. Due to the mechanics of his age and the gommaging, nobody would know who he is, right? Yeah.
Correct.
I mean, they would have either been really like babies or small children when he would have left if he was leaving on a
I
voyage
was never
or an
given a name.
expedition. Yeah, I was never given a name.
That's right. Okay, so Q Act 1, named Gustav. So, so prologue is now officially over. An act is cued by a major reversal, so we have now left Lumiere. We are now in this other space of attacking the painters, and the stakes are raised because we have we thought it was all about it just going for the painters, but we actually have this other man who is going to be attacking us this whole time instead of this person off in the distance who's not really doing anything. Ooh, this is awesome. It's good to set the stakes early.
Yes, and the stakes have definitely been set.
Yes.
Just one of my thoughts about that scene, like, I love the contrast. We talked a lot about last time, the concept of Clair Obscur, using light and dark to really, like, give that contrast, to give that, extra depth. And I love the contrast of, this triumphant music when they're leaving Lumiere. They're on these ships, the sun's bright, there's this triumphant music, they're like going, and it's like, yeah, here we go, and then it's immediately this darkness, this eerie silence, and then just death and chaos. And like, it really helps like make that beach, like, that beach scene's awesome, and it would be awesome if that's just immediately where it started. But I think the contrast of what came before, where it's like, all right, like, we've got our purpose, we've got our motivation, let's go, let's, fight whatever's out there, let's kick some ass, like, all of that helps build you up, and then it's just this immediate hopelessness of, here's our army, we show up on the beach, and we're just massacred in seconds. Like, it just really...
It's something like, I mean, I don't know, at first it seems like there's only like a hand, like one or two or maybe three of you that get out of that situation. Or at the very beginning, it seems like maybe Gustav is one of the only ones that survived. And so it's just like, just this immediate, like, all right, basically everyone's dead. Good job, Expedition 33. Like,
Yeah, so the director for this game is Guillaume Broche. I don't.
Hang
know
on, I'm
what
going
he's
to try
done
now.
before. I
Gam
haven't
Rouge. Yeah.
Yeah,
There it is. I think Eric's pronunciation is right.
Yeah.
that sounds right. But he'll definitely win Best Director. Like, this guy is incredible at what he does. I've been stunned by every scene that he has shot. He knows how to stage everything. He knows how to set the stakes. I don't know. And the writing itself obviously is also great. But everybody who worked on this game is an artist. The music, the acting, like, it's all amazing.
Yeah, they're going to clean house at the Game Awards.
They're going to clean house every category.
Yeah.
All right, so this cosmic hand monster snaps up Gustav and transports him to another location alone, to a place called Spring Meadows. So did the hand monster save him from the man, or is it working with the man? Why would the man have spared him? I don't know. Or is this place a bad space and the man put him there? We don't really have answers to why Gustav is here, but probably not working with the man. So did the chaos ensue and the cosmic hand creatures also showed up and spared them? I don't know.
Yeah, I still am kind of scratching my head over this one. I haven't gotten an answer to this in my playthrough, and so I'm speculating and was like, the whole beach scene outside of like the death, I just am feeling kind of confused by it. It was just chaos that I don't understand what was going on there yet.
There is one other mysterious thing on the beach that I don't think I caught my first time through, but after kind of the initial blast and, like there's the decapitation and then explosions and things, and Gustav gets knocked over, and you hear kind of the tinnitus sound and things are a little bit blurry, but as he's lying on the ground, you can see, a little bit further away from him, you can see Mael lying there on the ground, and you see some other mysterious figure kind of walking, standing over her, starts to crouch down, and then there's another flash, and when it dies down, they're both gone.
Okay, so later at the end of this section, we'll see that she's at the manor with the Curator. Do we know if it's the Curator?
Having seen it now again, we do know who it is, and it is not the Curator.
Okay.
But
I think I have a guess
we'll come back
who
to
it
that
is.
when we
We'll
know.
come back to it. Eric, I don't know if
I
don't know if you know yet.
I think I have a guess. I think it's the. Well, I don't know if we're going to cover it in this episode. I think
We won't
maybe
cover it in this
the
episode.
character shows up. Yeah. So I
Okay, so
I have a
we
guess,
can
and I will remain cryptic intentionally.
Okay. So Gustav wanders around the spring meadow and he comes across a bloody webbed nest of decaying bodies. Gustav summons his pistol as he can't really accomplish anything alone in this world now, and he just lost Sophie and Mael, and he's gonna, commit seppuku of the head, if you will.
You know what? I I can't really fault the guy. He just, everyone they just got so destroyed.
Just the
He's just
level
like,
of
all right, well,
hopelessness that happens so fast. He sees his entire army just get demolished, and then he comes across this mountain of bodies, and it's pretty clear. Oh, this is not gonna work.
and he goes,
It's just me.
We
all these
tried,
people
yeah.
did not make it. Yeah.
Maybe in this world they call it gommaging yourself. I'm gonna go gommage myself.
sounds gross when you say it like that. You gommage yourself. Do you need us to
Right.
leave so you can gommage yourself?
Yeah, but
Gonna give myself a good
Myself 4 or
gommage.
5
Yeah.
times a day.
the algorithm can't ding you for that, right? It won't detect that one. I'm gonna go gommage myself. It sounds like it has sexual undertones, but I promise you it doesn't. Well, maybe a little bit.
Depends on what you're into.
A little. Anyway, then it cuts to black for just a split second, and then it cuts to Lune appears to his left to stop him. She gives him the bromide. When one falls, we continue. It's apparently also an oath, but sure. She's full of resolve and strength. An enemy approaches. He says putain, which means damn in French. He says this a lot. This is his go-to curse. All right. So we learn the dead don't so after they take out this enemy, and a bit later, we learn that the dead don't disappear in Lumiere. Their chroma stays inside their bodies. And so chroma is the life force of creatures, and theirs is removed in the gommage. So why don't these creatures in this area disappear? We don't understand this yet. So we learned one vital clue about the cosmic rule of the paintress. Is she gommaging humans in Lumiere and nowhere else? I don't know. It's just the fun thing about like a cosmic genre is trying to it's like a mystery genre almost. You're trying to peel back the rules of the cosmic entity to find out what their motivation is.
Because their motivations are so generally so alien to like regular people that it's like a mystery trying to figure out like why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I have to say this game, like I would definitely recommend playing it through at least one other time after you finish it, because things hit so much differently. You're like the second playthrough because you know all these motivations, and it's really cool because you see all the continuity from the get-go is just fantastic.
Could not agree with that more. Like 100%. Nailed it out of the park.
Nailed it out of the park.
Always
so when it
funny.
has stuff like this that gets elucidated after you finish the game, I've written notes for it to be able to discuss it in a bonus episode where we do lore backlog. But we have to shelf it for now so we don't do spoilers for anyone. Alright, so Lune also says after this that some did disappear, but Gustav says it said they disappeared like on the beach, I think, but Gustav says they weren't Nevrons. Lune also says that the way Nevron kills affects their chroma. So there's a lot of just like nitty gritty lore being dumped here. And I had to pause and rewind it a bunch, but I think it's just not for us to understand yet, but just some cosmic rules that are just about how Nevron and Chroma and humans work and how they are delineated and why humans are different in Lumiere versus out here.
I think giving you the information up front so that when things happen later down the road, you have the context for it.
This is foreshadowing, right? Like, they do a lot of foreshadowing because this is why foreshadowing is important, right? Like, it's not spoilers or anything like that. It's important to give clues and hints as to what the reveal is so that it's still surprising but feels inevitable once you go back and see that all the hints were there. But anyway, we'll go back over. So the Nevron reveals that it was painted by the paintress, and it wants light to be able to follow her. So this is classic fantasy trope. We need light and darkness. It's consumed by darkness. It wants light to be able to follow her. If you're doing a fantasy genre, you have to do light versus darkness. That is just what the fantasy genre is.
The rules. It's right there in the rule book. You got to do it. Yeah.
That's right. Is it like Lord of the Rings? All light versus darkness, right? Like it's all good versus evil. And on the third day, look to the east, and he just shines with bright light as the sun.
Oh, Gandalf!
Exactly. Anyway. We find at the indigo tree about Mael, it's saying that she's being held by some weird coral, and it wasn't signed, and this breaks a cardinal rule of expeditions. You gotta sign your weird notes.
You gotta leave a note.
Always leave a note. Yeah.
And Lune is a rule follower, and Gustav wants to throw that stuff out because he is her protector, her guardian, and he challenges on that, and he's like, whatever, I gotta go do it. I love the stark contrast in the characterization of Lune versus Gustav and how much they pick at that between this whole section.
I really love, kind of ever since Lune shows up, the way that they portray that, because we've seen Gustav really come to his lowest point, ready to gommage himself, and
It's
Just-
so funny now.
You know, like, I love the way that she stops him as well, because, like, you know, she could come up and just be like, hey, what are you doing? You know, like, confront him or whatever, but, you know, he's holding it to his head. She sits down next to him and just says, if you do that, we both die, because it's going to go through his head and into hers. You know, she kind of is like,
Oh,
She's
I
going to
didn't catch
gommage
what
both
she
of
meant.
them.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
I thought she just meant that she was going to die because she wouldn't have someone else to work with. But okay.
that too.
You're right.
But, you know, like, it's very much a, like, she knows Gustav, at least to some extent, to know that it's like, look, you might not value your life, but I know that you value mine, and you're not going to let me die.
That's good
and-
characterization.
So
Yep.
He's a protector,
he is.
and she knows this.
And so that's how she kind of rallies him, and he's really ho-hum the whole time, you know, up until, and, you know, you get to the point where you fight the Evique, or whatever, it's the big, like, weird sorcery thing with the spears, and, you know, that kind of boss fight. But, like, right before you fight it, you do run into another expeditioner who had shot a flare, and he gets killed. And then you fight this boss. And at the end of that, you see Gustav kind of have this look of almost satisfaction on his face. You know, and Lune's like, oh, you can celebrate later. We got to keep going looking for other survivors. And Gustav, you know, he's feeling pretty good about himself, but then looks and he sees Leo's dead body again, and you immediately see him just, you know, he's back to his
It's brought
depressed.
back down.
And then, you know, like, so he's kind of dragging his feet this whole time until they see this mysterious note. And that's, again, he gets rejuvenated. He finds that purpose where it's like, Mael is alive. This weird note with no signature is telling us where to go. We've got to go. We got to go now. Like, this is Gustav's purpose. He's found it again because there's a chance that Mael might be out there. And I love seeing that and seeing how Lune's response the whole time, like, everything that she does is so calculated and so precise. And, you know, she's the scientist. She's so, like, she wants to learn everything that she can. She wants to strategize. And Gustav's like, there's no time for strategy. There's no time for thinking or being smart. Let's go. And it's such a cool, like you said, you know, it's just a really cool way that they pick at each other and characterize against each other. Like, it's great writing, and it makes both of them interesting characters.
Right. That's what I really love about this script, especially coming off Death Stranding, which, you know, I love the story, the narrative. It's brilliant. However, it's refreshing coming into this story because there's a lot of subtext and there's a lot of character psychology to pick at. And there was also a lot of that in The Last of Us. And then, so coming back to this, like, the dialogue, how these characters challenge each other and their differences and their values, it really, like it's an ensemble piece, and they're all very interesting characters, and they're complex, and they have a lot of flaws. And so the writers took a lot of time to understand them and to give them opportunities to speak in their voice and to challenge each other, to explain their differences. I love this about this script.
Well, I was just going to bring up, like, kind of the conversation that they have at the camp. I think really brings it all to a head for me, because they do, you know, they start to kind of make amends, you know, like, you know, kind of let it all be water under the bridge, but then they start to challenge each other again. You know, Gustav, you can see that survivor's guilt in him a little bit, and he wants to find Mael and go home. And Lune calls him out and just, you know, she reminds him, when one falls, we continue. You know, she says, when one falls, when, not if, when. It reminds him, like, we signed up for this. We knew that we were putting our lives on the line. And I love the way that she challenges him, because she, you know, she asks, like, do you still believe that? And he has to stop and think about it. Like, Lune is bringing to the
He
forefront.
says, I hope I do, right?
Yeah, he does. And, you know, she's just reminding him, like, this is who you, like, this is who, you know, you've defined yourself as your entire life. Like, you know, when push comes to shove, what is your character? And he has to actually
he's having
sit
a
and,
crisis.
yeah. And she brings that to the front of his mind, and he has to sit there, and he doesn't take that, you know, that question lightly. Like, he actually thinks about it, like, am I going to throw away the entire character of who I am and who I've been my entire life for this one moment like, because this has all gone wrong. And he ultimately decides, no, I'm going to stay true to these principles that I have. But it's something that he really considers abandoning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I really like how they engage the player with that, like that decision making and that growth as well, is because the whole phrase "when one falls, we continue" is a mantra that's spoken by, I'm assuming, lots of expeditions, all the expeditions. But I love that when you are like when you're in one of the turn-based battles, and then when you finish the battle, the button prompt that comes up, it doesn't say like continue or go or next or whatever. There's like, you press the button and it says we continue, and it's a really small, like, little thing to be like, to just engage the player with that process and with the that philosophy of the game and the philosophy of these people.
You
like
the ethos, right?
It gives you the ethos. It makes you a part of it.
Value.
Yeah, and still you with the value, exactly. So that when it's like, when you're done with that battle, it's like, all right, we continue, and it makes you a part of the team in kind of a way that I love little things like that, where they find little ways to work the narrative into interactions with the player themselves.
Right. Okay, so after this we enter Flying Waters. Flying Waters is a surreal aquatic landscape where coral formations, glowing flora, and drifting wreckage create the illusion of walking through a submerged dream. Light shafts, vertical cliffs, and ruined structures heighten the sense of mystery and haunting beauty. So I love this trope, the pretend underwater effect. It's like you're straight up underwater, but then they just walk around and breathe under. Like,
yeah,
you can do that 1,000 times, and I love it. They did it.
Everything looks and acts like it's underwater, and it's fine. Yeah,
and you're just there. You're just breathing, right? Like,
you're just
this
also
is
there.
fun.
Yeah.
They come across Elodie's expedition. Now, this was fun for me because I thought I had never heard this name before until a week ago when I got on ChatGPT, and I was like, hey, I need a name for my kid because she's about to be born in a couple days. And it's like, Elodie. It's a French name. It's elegant. It's whatever. And I was like, you know what? That's a beautiful name. I'm going with it. And then my kid was born several days earlier than we expected, and we went with Elodie. And then I hop in this game, and would you believe it? I actually had heard the name before. It was in this game.
Well, how about that? Yeah.
And she had led an expedition. She was a hero until she died. An acrimonious death. So her boat was blown into the air by a storm. So how do they know this? They had seen it happen from the shores. So as soon as they had left the shores...
Can you imagine? You just like, the gommage happens, everyone's sad, and then you all of the expeditioners, they get on a boat, people are waving their hankies and saying farewell, good luck, and then just whoosh, just a storm picks their ship up off of the ocean and then carries them away, and you're just like, well, damn it.
There goes Expedition 68.
All right, 67.
It's always next year.
It's always next year. We continue. Yeah.
We continue. That's right. Oh, man. So they didn't think that they survived at all. It turns out some of them had, but they died soon after, and it sets up a battle later on, which is pretty cool. But I love Elodie's ways with words because, or at least I like this one line where she, later in this scene, she describes a battle with the Nevrons as an ink bath. I love that twist and play with words. Yeah, that's cool. In this area, we find the manor just kind of lodged here in the water. So we touch the door and get teleported inside. So it kind of indicates that we might not actually physically be there. Guess what? Another liminal space, probably. Everything is full of liminal spaces.
Is this the mansion from Resident Evil?
Yeah.
That was my first thought.
Probably.
I need to ask you guys a
Where's the
question.
space key?
Yeah.
Who else got to the manor and was just completely like, what do I do? What am I doing here? What's like, because I did laps around the manor. There's nothing to do in there the first time you go except for talk to the caretaker guy like on your way out, and I was like, and so after a while I just kind of left again, and I didn't really realize what the manor was for until you come back, like you find it in a different area later in the game. You get transported back to the manor, and then you can access new areas, and I'm like, oh, Now I get it. But the first time, I'm
Very
just like
confusing.
twiddling my thumbs, like, what do I do here? What am I doing? Like,
Yeah, I think my first time in there, I went to every single door twice because I was like, what are we?
why are none of these opening?
Yeah, and it's just, but yeah, I really like it now. But at first, I was like, I mean, like the initial transporting there and Mael being like, I don't know, I just woke up here. Like when that first happened, I was like, classic JRPG right here. Like just the, like this is a classic trope. I know what we're doing, but then after that, like when it lets you kind of run around and do your thing again, I was like, what? Went and played the piano a little bit to see if that would unlock anything, and nope.
My thought was like, you know what? This is an indie studio. They probably had another purpose that they were going to use this mansion for, and then they shifted that purpose to something else. But they had spent a lot of time making this really pretty asset, and so so my thought was like they just put it in the game there because they still wanted to use it, but they had worked what they were going to use it for into something else at first. So I'm trying to solve this puzzle. Like, what is this for? Why is this here? And now I understand. But at first, it did not make sense to me.
Yeah. A liminal space indicates probably has meaning, but we don't know what it is, so we'll figure out. But the manor is a gorgeous fusion of Victorian and Art Deco sensibilities with minimalist decor striking in lavish gold-adorned black walls and pillars and black diamond checkerboarded marble flooring with an indirect soft and warm lighting, which reminded me that I have a ranch rambler with an unfinished basement. If you couldn't tell. Guys,
Jan
I
has
am
picked
house
the
poor.
coolest room in his house. Yeah, every time we record.
It is a gorgeous design. Yeah, but I don't live this lavishly, and good for them. Good for them. Anyway, so Gustav finds Mael putting about in a room, looking at her floating blue prism journal. She doesn't know how she got there, and in comes a caved-in faceless man. He vibrates hello, probably. I don't know. He doesn't talk.
So I love the music when you first meet the curator, because the second time through I just focused on it so hard, but it's they have this perfect balance of I'm not sure, I'm kind of on guard because it looks like it'd be a boss battle, but then
I thought it was a boss battle.
A little bit trusting, and they do this where there's this super intense tone, but then there's also this peaceful tone in the background. I don't know. I'm not a sound guy, obviously, but it just
there's
it's
something
such a
ominous.
Cool, yeah, I've never heard it in that way before. It's it literally feels like they should have two soundtracks on top of each other, and just has this really cool feeling.
Dissonance.
Yeah, it's ominous and imposing, but it doesn't immediately make you be like, "Ooh, I'm about to throw hands." It makes you unsure of what, friend or foe.
Yeah. It's I don't know what to think about this, and then just emotions are going back and forth.
Good note. Well, I guess so. She says he reinforces her pictos, whatever that means. It has implications, if you know it. Yeah.
Because of the implication.
So
They gommage each other.
there's an they also say he has different chroma from the Nevrons, so we got another hint of lore. There are different types of chroma, and his is darker and more ominous. But what is that? Okay, keep that in mind. This guy's named the Curator, and that continues this painting motif that we keep dropping hints of throughout this entire game.
Well, and chroma as well is
Colors.
Chroma, chromatic could be the soul of color, and so chroma is sort of the soul and what powers these painterly abilities, and so it's all very artistically, specifically painterly focused and visually artistically focused, which I think is a very
Powerful theme.
It's a very powerful theme. It feels very decidedly French in the way that they communicate it, which I'm a big fan of. So I as an artist, I like this focus on like visual and paints and chromatic, and it's very cool.
All right, so Mael doesn't know who left the indigo tree message. So did someone save her? We don't know. We can
They
speculate.
didn't sign the
wildly.
note, whoever it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could it be this stranger from the beach? Is it somebody else?
Oh, I think
Yeah.
I think I am right about my guess now, Lundy, that you said
So,
it. Yeah.
so you said the person at the beach wasn't the curator, and since it was so we know it wasn't the person trying to murder them, but it's some other third party who doesn't leave notes, probably. So let's move on. We meet Noco the Gestural. So we all love Noco, obviously. He's
Noco.
very lovable.
Obviously, I'm just waiting for them to make a Noco action figure, and then I'm gonna buy the crap out of it.
Yeah, he's an articulated mannequin with brush bristles for hair and a penchant for insults. He's an amalgamation of artist tools. What a fun little guy.
Yeah, Gesturals are probably one of my favorite things in this game, of just their propensity for violence and fighting, but then they're just wrapped up in this weird mannequin cute thing.
They're like mannequins that came to life with paintbrush hair that are about as smart as toddlers, but like to fight everything. And it's like it's just this weird mishmash of stuff, and I love them.
I also love their language, where it's just like a bunch of weird babbled gibberish that like has a couple French words in there, but it's not actually like French, and like it's just this weird thing that they can just understand somehow. But like
Yeah.
it kind of almost reminds me of like
Franglish.
yeah, it almost reminds me of like the minions from Despicable Me.
I was just gonna say the
They are
minions.
very minion-esque.
Yeah. So
That's
I
good.
just
Yeah, but not super annoying.
So very suddenly, Lune wants a detour, which I guess is okay this time. She
Yeah, well, because now it's her
wants
idea.
To meet the
Yeah.
Gestural. Yeah, it's her idea. It's a very sudden reversal in character. But Gustav thinks maybe we should continue the expedition because he's not as interested in the Gestrals. But they need a solution for the sea that's between them and the paintress. So let's go to the Gestrals. But you can
really
fight
worked out for
Noco if you
Lune.
want to.
Well, yeah, you gotta fight Noco. 'cause
Oh, you have
gotta
to.
unlock
Okay.
that. Oh, no,
Some
you
of
don't
them
have
are
to, but
optional. Okay.
I don't think. Yeah,
Come on,
it's
but you
just-
have to fight him.
If
Like,
you
I-
want to trade with Noco, you gotta trade. You gotta fight.
But who's not fighting Noco?
But you're
Like,
gonna
come
fight
on.
Noco.
Yeah.
And then he like grows 5 times his size. It's entertaining. Anyway, at one point in Flying Waters, Mael insults Gustav's taste in architecture. This is just a side note that I had because I thought it was entertaining. She insults his taste in architecture by diminishing his taste for being a Cartesian engineer. So I thought, what the hell? That's an erudite insult. Because what she's saying here is the Cartesian being like, you have a proclivity and taste for like orthogonally adjacent and perpendicular lines. He just likes, she's like, you're too pedestrian to understand like organic flowing lines and the beauty of nature. Or, well, she's talking about architecture, so like Art Nouveau or something like that, just more natural lines. She understands it because she's an intellectual. She is more perspicacious artist, but he is a pedestrian. He can't understand these things. So it's a revealing character that she is a trained artist, but he is not.
Also, she's bougie.
That's-
Yeah, it's kind of a throwaway line, but it reveals character.
It does. That's actually not the trained artist thing is not something that immediately came to mind, but is an impressive detail.
Yeah,
I was mostly just focused on how perspicacious she was being.
perspicacious, you dumbass.
So was I.
I know, I said it wrong on
Very focused
purpose.
on that.
Indubitably.
All right, so then they come across a red rose in the middle of a field. Gustav plucks it, and we see Sophie gommage, slightly out of focus. So the rose symbolizes his tragedy and loss, and it brings him back to this state of mind. And it reminded me of The Office when they say, you know what would be a great picture here? Just this whole dump. And in the middle, one flower. That's it.
And you zoom out.
You zoom out. And the caption says, life grows in a dump.
And then you get attacked by Goblu. And it's just, whatever. Yes, Eric?
So I actually had, we've all played Breath of the Wild, yes?
Yeah.
So I was thinking this immediately brought to mind that this thing didn't attack until you plucked the flower, and it reminded me of the Breath of the Wild where there's that one shrine that's like surrounded by flowers,
lady.
and you have to like very carefully walk, and if you step on a flower, she like gets mad and kicks you out, and if you do it 3 times, she absolutely loses her mind and like goes crazy, and the internet took to calling her Flower Blight Ganon. Because she was like, which I thought was super funny. And so he like picks the flower, and then this huge like boss jumps out, and you have to fight it. I was like, it's Flower Blight Ganon. Like, it was totally fine until you picked the flower, and now he means business.
That's how you know we mean business.
Business, son.
So, yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah. With this boss fight, like the first time through, I want to know if any of the rest of you experienced this, because the curator, right before you leave, he's like, oh hey, by the way, here's a new gameplay mechanic. When you see this thing, you can jump and then counterattack. And it was like, okay, like, and so when Goblu comes up and you got to fight him, it seems like it's a really natural thing to be like, hey, let's test out this mechanic that we've just learned, and he has an attack where he jumps and then like smashes on the ground. Did any of the rest of you like think that you were supposed to jump and you were just somehow missing that little symbol? Because I died so many times where I was like, I'm doing it. I'm trying to jump. Like,
didn't understand it for the longest time.
No, I didn't experience that.
So mad.
Eric is perfect at mechanics.
I'm perfect.
Never had a problem.
No, I'm trying to remember, and I don't remember trying to jump there. I probably did, and then when I got hit, I was like, maybe I should dodge. I don't remember specifically. Yeah.
Eric learns.
I was so bad at timing, I just dodged everything.
Oh,
that was all I did.
I didn't parry a single time, like my first playthrough, but like
parrying is hard in this game.
But like, yeah, I figured I was like the jumping. I was like, the timing has just got to be so like specific, but like. Clearly, they wouldn't have taught me how to do it right before this if I wasn't supposed to do it here. And I died over it because obviously jumping doesn't once ever dodge that attack of his because you're not supposed to jump to dodge it. And it took me so many times to finally like go, maybe I should actually just try dodging instead. And that worked. And I was like, I was so mad. I was
Come on,
furious.
Sandfall. You guys make better games.
I think they did it intentionally because they know that, like, people like me play the game, and they're like, these idiots are going to get stuck here for, like, hours.
It is a weird spot to put that tutorial and then not have you use it right away.
I feel like that was intentional.
I wonder if they changed that in an update, because I feel like they tell you the jump thing, and then you do... Maybe not.
I think he does have attacks where you jump, but his main one that, like...
But not that one. That's probably what I'm thinking of.
And that's like one of his main things. Like, I do think he does attacks later that you do jump. But yeah, like, it just seemed like it was like such a natural and like obvious, like, yes, this is where you jump. And it was like, I'm not seeing that thing, but like, clearly I'm supposed to jump here. And no, you're not supposed to. And I was the fool that they knew I would be.
The court jester. All right. So after this fight with Goblu, it bounces off. But right before that, Mael thought the creature felt familiar somehow. So something is mysterious about Mael.
Yeah, she seems to have a little bit of a connection
to something out here in the world beyond the world that she grew up in. I know she's a foster child, but so she's a mystery. She's an enigma. We don't know. And have you noticed enigmas never age? But anyway, so foreshadowing, we'll shelf that. We'll come back to it. So then we have Mael's Nightmare. It's black and white, high contrast vignette. There's a conflagration. We see somebody's body face down, a sword held over it. Crying woman runs to it. Bloodied and angry man turns to face the woman. It cuts to Mael on her knees, holding a white cloth, screaming at the paintress. So again, foreshadowing. We can shelf it, come back to it because a lot of us know what it is. And I don't want to spoil anything.
I do want to make a quick note that during these sequences where Mael is having a dream or something weird, that the image is letterboxed. It's at a 4:6 aspect ratio. And so that's an interesting, it's a way to kind of frame it differently from the rest of the game to be like something different is happening here. Yeah.
And they also, like, that was one of the things I was going to bring. Yeah, like the aspect ratio changes, but also like the way they animate it, like it looks like they changed a lens. So it gives it like a different depth, like, like their face shape is slightly different because they're filming now with a different lens, which is
like a light
really
fishbowl effect.
Yeah, like it's a really cool effect to do.
Okay.
Like
is it a close lens or is it a wide angle lens or?
It's
it's all digital, Shan. So
yeah,
it's not
like
lenses, but yeah.
I don't know exactly. Like I'm not
talking about?
specific enough with like photography and things like that, but I know that like different things like 50 millimeter looks different than 80 millimeter. Like as far as the lens that you put on, and it shifts that, it changes it. It's the reason why if you try to take a selfie with your phone, like your nose looks bigger and your face looks thinner than if you have like a professional take it, where it looks a little bit more normal. They just do a subtle lens switch when they go into these dream sequences that throws it off just a little bit more. It's kind of like the Dutch angle, but a slightly different thing to be like, okay, we're just getting you outside, like we're making you uncomfortable in a different way by just shifting how this looks.
Yeah, it just like picks at this part of your brain that even if you don't realize what's happening, it makes you feel a little bit like something is slightly off. Yeah.
All right, so after this, Mael and Gustav have an aside about the gommage versus death out there where they're at and how they feel different. So this is going to take a stark turn, but I felt like inserting something about how this felt relatable to yesterday because so they're talking about how like the gommage, there's something peaceful and serene about it because it's something they expect. It's a peaceful passing, it's melancholic, and so this is akin to just like people passing with age, and it's hard, but we accept it. But out there, they get to the beach, and it was the first time they had experienced violent death, and the stakes are raised, and it was visceral. It changed everything for them in a moment, and this game, there's a motif that they want you to focus on. This aside can be something you discard, but this conversation is vignette. If you actually pay attention, this is an important line because they want you to understand tragedy and loss that is very important to this game. And the reason I bring it up is because we've probably all experienced, the type of loss that comes with age and stuff like that. And then there's the violent stuff. And yesterday, on our timeline, because this will release later, we experienced violent stuff with Kirk's death, and that was 5 minutes from my house, which has a different tenor. Not that I'm trying to chase attention because of my proximity, just wanted to talk about the psychology of being close to violence, because first and foremost, the attention needs to go to his family and how that's a tragic loss for them. But Utah generally is like one of the safest places you can ever experience, and I have never felt in danger just going anywhere ever with my family. And even though it wasn't towards me, and I knew it wasn't, and I knew it, like at a logical level, it wasn't coming for me, even, and I knew the guy wasn't caught, but I was safe. Within a moment, everything had changed, and suddenly Utah had that veneer of safety just ruined for me. I don't know if any of you felt that. You were slightly farther away, but things are different now, and I don't like this.
Yeah, I live in North Carolina, so that event yesterday didn't affect me the same. It's obviously a horrible tragedy, but when we were living in Logan one time, when we were all roommates living in Logan, there was one night where we were all just outside hanging out for some reason, and we heard what I thought was gunshots, and I go, "Were those gunshots?" And Tucker goes, "Yes, Eric, those were gunshots in Logan, Utah."
And I said they were fireworks.
And Shan was like, "I think those were fireworks."
The 4th of July,
which is
fireworks made much more sense.
Fireworks did make much more sense, and so I was like, "Oh yeah, it's probably but it was close. It was loud. It was not far away." And
it was.
And then the next day when I was at work, I was looking. I was just reading some news articles and stuff because I was bored at work, and I read it. It was
caution tape.
Yeah, well, it was there were these murder. It was a boyfriend who had gotten mad at his girlfriend, dumped him, and so he came and he shot his girlfriend, her new boyfriend, and then himself. And
he drove back to his place and shot himself, I believe. And that was
I don't remember the details, but
right.
But it was
where he shot himself near where my wife was, which was a few miles away.
Yeah. But it was close. It was it was like a block away from us or something like that. And so it was it had the same kind of
the house next to us.
Man.
Yeah, it was next door.
Was it next door? Oh man.
It was the house.
I'm leaving out details, but but it had the same thing of oh wow, because even though not directed at us at all, we were totally safe the whole time. But it was it still had this oh my goodness kind of a thing to it. Yep.
Yeah. Just I don't know, just the psychology of it. That's what I'm getting at. I'm trying to connect to this story, just how they're talking about loss and how the loss due to the gommage is different than the violent loss, and I understand that even though the Kirk death wasn't a personal loss, it was close in proximity, and that is something that now makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think just, to your point, Shannon, bringing it a little bit back to the game, understanding that the loss of life is not equal across the board. And this game does it really, really well. The gommage being a expected thing, it's coming up, you have an entire year to prepare, and this is peaceful passing. And then on the flip side of that, you have violent, unexpected death. Both have the same outcome of loss of a life, but the journey to get there is so vastly different and hits so much harder. There's it elicits two very different reactions.
Yep.
And this game actually plays on that theme, I think, pretty well as we get deeper into it.
Well, we also think that the citizens of Lumiere probably have either experienced very little real violence, like killing violence, like murder, very little or none of that.
None.
And so it's because why would the people in Lumiere be killing each other? That makes no sense.
Their life is too precious. Yeah.
And so it's they have no experience with this horrific violence way of dying until all of a sudden they go out on this expedition, and then it's just boom in front of their face. And which is why Gustav kind of freezes up on the beach there. He's just sitting there what is happening? Yeah.
Well, and see, that's what I'm saying is it felt like where I live was Lumiere, and then suddenly it wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's one of the things that this game does well, and not to spoil it, but there is another one of these kind of side conversations with a character later in the game where it's not the same as the violent loss, but they talk about an accidental death that happened back when they were in Lumiere, and how that was different to them than the gommage. They talk very specifically I was prepared for this person's gommage, but I wasn't prepared to lose them before that. and like just the difference between accident or and time, and even then, like you said, violence. Like it's just so much more jarring when it's like, death is something that happens naturally, but to see it forced by somebody else makes it even like where it's just this, and I love the way.
And it's control versus loss of control.
Yeah. Yes. And I love the way throughout this entire game, like there's constant conversations. It's such a heavy topic. Like death is, it's really something that like, like in video games, I think death can sometimes be just kind of flippant because it's like, oh, we're just killing these NPCs and, it's kind of pretend. And this game really kind of like leans into it to be like, no, like this is what death means in these different circumstances. And this is what grief and loss does to people and how everybody copes with it differently. It's very personal. And, one of the things that I didn't expect my first time through is with some of these conversations, like there were some of the conversations that actually really helped me, like my dad died a year and a half ago. And it's been long enough that like I've done, a lot of healing, but like there's obviously still times where, it affects me. And there were times playing this game where I received help that I didn't know that I needed. Where it was just like, this is giving me good advice on how to cope with this and like how to think of this and how to process this. And it was just like the way that they balance death and talk about it and, and just how precious life is something that's so well executed. I think it would be so easy for them to attempt it and to mess it up or make it cheesy or something. And the fact that they did it so poignantly is impressive to me.
It's delicate, and they treated it as such. I don't know how they, it's like they got a lot of input. It's like this couldn't have come from one writer, I don't think. It's a lot of perspective and a lot of depth.
It's a really heavy subject matter to handle, and it's easy to go too hard with it, and it gets cheesy and overly sappy. But then if you go not hard enough, like if you take too much of a soft approach, then it doesn't seem valuable or weighty. And they hit a right balance between that, where it's like, yeah, exactly what Lindy was saying, that it makes life feel valuable, and it makes you kind of sit and think and be like, huh, like how does this apply to me? How does this help me heal from something that I might have experienced? So it's just good stuff.
Well, we're going to take a hard pivot because right after this you fight Sakapatat, which means sack of potatoes. And he looks like it.
Yeah, he's the
It's
best.
aptly named. And after that, Noco is upset that you killed it, and he wants Gustav's arm.
Sakapatat is like the giant gestural construct, right? Is that what I'm?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Noco
I had a crazy hard time with this guy's attack patterns. I don't know why. Every single time you fight a gestural, they do this thing where when they die, they or not a gestural, the
Sakapatat.
Like the constructs.
The constructs, yeah, they do the thing where you they'll like come up to you and they fall over on top of you to do like one last hit of damage before the battle is over and before they die. And I got hit by that every single time. I haven't dodged it once because I always forget it's going to happen. I'm like, oh, I did the battle. Oh no!
Well, Eric, get good. I
need to get better. I'm not good at video
games. I always got.
I'm about 50-50.
Shan's still salty about our Silk Song conversation the other day.
Eric has never had a problem in his life with
I'm good at
difficult
everything.
mechanics. Yeah. Well, so Noco gets upset about Sakapatat dying, and he wants Gustav's arm as recompense. So this easily reminded me of Rocket Raccoon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wanting.
Well, I'm going to get that arm. Yeah.
Is that what everybody's reminded? Wanting
100%.
yeah, prosthetics and eyes and stuff like that.
To say there is not even a slight chance that this wasn't a 100% overt reference to that. I can't think of anything else that it possibly could be. Yeah.
He's a spicy little one. It's so fun. All right, so the Gestural Village's visual design mixes whimsical mechanical motifs with rustic village flair. Buildings look cobbled together from wooden planks, corrugated metal, gears, and metal plates. There's a contrast between bright, festive colors on fabrics, banners, lights, and dark, worn industrial textures. It's Belle Epoque carnival style. Think like carousels with like those, classic old-timey carousels. It's kind of looks like that old Frenchy style. And you head in to meet Golgra. That's a very strong name. Yeah,
and she's a very strong lady. Did you try to battle her at all after?
Yeah,
so
just
one
you
hit,
get the chance.
right,
Yeah, you get the chance. It's like, oh, and after you kind of talked to everybody in the village, and before you're about to go, they're like, "Do you want to fight?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll fight." And then poof, just dead immediately. It's like, all right, we'll come back to you. I'm going to level up a little bit, and I'll be back in 10 hours. Yeah.
Now, I assume we were all collectively confused that she was called Chef. This is like a Chef Boyardee. It's not a Chef Boyardee thing. It's French for chief. She's the chief.
She's the master chef. Yeah.
Yeah, master chef.
Yeah. Her arms are as big as Abby's, so now we have 2 points of reference that women can get arms this big. So,
I bet Owen would be into it.
So you naysayers, women can get this swole.
As long as you're a fictional French puppet. Yeah.
Or Abby eating all of
Or
those
Abby.
burritos.
One of the two.
That's right. Golgra does say that the white-haired man... First of all, it looks like he has black hair, but they keep calling him a white-haired man, but sure.
Yeah,
The
it's
dude's
like
got like
what,
2
kind of
white
salt
hairs, and
and
they're like,
pepper.
the white-haired
Yeah.
man.
I mean, when everybody's dying in their mid-30s, if you see a guy with more than like 5 gray hairs, you're going to think his hair's white. So
Okay, it's the one thing that stands out.
Yeah.
he has a
Not
white
the
hair.
cane.
The white-haired man. He's got
That's
a
not
white
white
hair.
By the way, I
technically
don't really have white hair, but like I've got this tiny patch right here. You can't really probably see it on camera, and now
Yeah,
my
me either.
daughter can't unsee it. and just today she told my wife, "Hey, I have white hair on my face." So I'm like, "Daddy." It's like you can't see any hair on your face.
Kids say the
And
funniest thing.
she says she's getting old now.
Yeah, she's getting old now. Kids say such funny things. I have a lot of white hair on my face. About a third of my beard is white these days. But kids will just say, like, a couple years ago, my youngest Emily, when she was probably like 3, she was sitting on my lap, and she was just kind of like stroking my arm hair, and she goes, "Dad, you're really furry." Not hairy, furry.
Eric's a furry.
I am technically a furry. If you call the hair fur, I have it pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
Gross.
And now
So
that's
we
on the
don't know
internet.
what-
That's a thing I said on the internet.
Yeah. We're gonna have Emily clip that and use it as a short. I am
Perfect.
a furry.
It's great.
Oh, great! Now I've said it.
Get that nice short form content so that everyone on the internet can know exactly the body hair situation I have going on.
All right. So yeah, we don't know why the white-haired man attacked this village. He probably just hates everyone. He definitely hates expeditioners.
Yeah.
It's possible he attacked them when he was an expeditioner, and then he decided he hated expeditioners. I don't know.
Who knows?
Let's
I mean,
move on.
Gestuals do send mixed signals. They're friendly, but then they want to fight.
That's true.
Could have
They
been.
are very aggressive, but sometimes.
Could have been just trying to earn their respect.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
he wanted
'cause that's what they do.
their materials. Maybe he was scavenging. So in the arena, you encounter Ciel. So her name means sky in French, and Lune obviously means moon. So we're getting some hints at like some, I don't know, light and darkness motifs. Not really. Sky, just, it's not light necessarily.
Things in
but
the sky. Yeah.
Things in the sky. There you
Speaking of CL, I still don't understand how to use her moveset.
Oh, she was
I just
she was
benched
my
her.
powerhouse.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, wait,
figuring
no,
it
she's
out.
one I used. Never mind.
But it's
I
like I really like it, but I'm very confused by it so far,
I
and
benched
I'm still
Lune.
trying to figure it
I
out.
love.
Is she the one that heals?
I mean, any of them.
She
heal
can. She
depending
has
on what
some.
you-
She has some.
Lune and
uh,
CL are
yeah.
both pretty good if you put them in that healer role. Like, if you want to put them in that
Okay.
support role. But yeah, and kind of on this
Oh, I
topic,
used
like,
Lune.
one of the things that I really love about this game with the combat is the more characters you get, each character, like their skill set, is its own unique mechanic. Like, they all have the basic, free shooting and attacking and items and stuff like that. But I love how each one of them makes you strategize differently with the skills that you load out with them, and then, how you use those, the order that you use them to, okay, if I do this, then it'll buff me for this, and then I can build that to this, for each of them. It's such a cool, I really love just how unique each character is, so that it does make a difference who you have in your party.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I started to
they're also different.
strategize after a while of trying to build off of each other as well as your own things, and that was a game changer in combat. Before, it was taking me forever just to go through basic enemies, and after I figured that out, it was just oh, I can just blow through these guys super quick. I'm with you, Lenny. That's one of my favorite mechanics of this game is just, swapping. At this point, we know we have 4 characters, and you have 3 during battles. So swapping people out for certain situations, there's definitely a lot more strategy than I was expecting in the actual fighting.
Yeah. I do also really like that if you have your 3 party members and one of them dies, it'll ask you, do you want to send the other one in? And it's oh my gosh, yes. Why does every turn-based game not do this? Of course I want to swap them in. Yeah. It's you've got people on deck, which is just yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Of course I want that. How have more games not done this?
It's and I love that when they come in, it gives you that the last stand of Expedition 33 on the screen, and it's it's completely unnecessary, and yet this at the same time it makes it feel more yeah, let's go,
yeah,
yeah.
And then you die and you have to restart the battle anyways. It's
Yeah.
Speaking of loadouts and maxing your characters, so basically in every RPG game that's ever existed, there's 1 to 2 critical mechanics that my ADHD brain just completely misses until I'm at the end of the game and I realize hey, why do I have 10,000 of these points? And then I realize that I need to go and buy 100 of something. And for this game, it was Pictos. I did not know the Curator was at the camp.
Oh, man.
Oh, okay. It took me a while to figure out the Curator is at the camp too.
They say the first time you meet him, they're I'll see you at the camp.
You, Eric. ADHD. Do you not understand how this works?
Yeah, he's in a random ass cave away from the fire.
That's
when
true.
You're
He's
at the
kind
camp,
of.
And you think it's just the fire, and that's it. I didn't know.
A fire?
No,
that's a camp.
No, hang on. After the Curator goes to your camp, the next time you go to your camp, the camera does a here's the Curator, and then it pulls back out.
Yeah, and then
you have to miss 4 different things in a row.
But I think you talked to him.
The Curator?
I think you talked to him once, and he doesn't ask you about. He doesn't say, "Let's do the Pictos thing." You have to talk to him a second time, I think, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's fair. That's true.
Yeah.
And it's because I didn't talk to him a second time. That's the only reason I missed it for 2/3 of the game.
That's fair. I'll give you that.
The Pictos are...
And I had the game on easy mode, so I didn't have to.
The Pictos are a massive game. My second playthrough, there's one that you can get that I'd seen some talk about it online, and I didn't know what it did, but it's called Cheater. And if you equip the Cheater Pictos or whatever, it allows you, it makes every one of your characters play 2 turns in a row. So it's as soon as you attack, you get to go again. And I was this just completely revolutionized the way that I'm playing this game. Especially if you get, there's also the first strike Pictos. And so you equip that to each of your characters and the Cheater, and then it's each of your characters gets 2 attacks before the enemy gets to go. And it's this is just the greatest, this is so much better.
It's you want to take the difficulty curve and just bend it over your knee?
Yeah. I mean, there's still really hard bosses. I've been, for this podcast, I'm on my 3rd playthrough, but my second playthrough I still haven't quite finished because I've been going and doing all of this extra side stuff, and I'm still getting my ass kicked, even with the Cheater Pictos and all of these double all your heals, and if somebody else heals, you get 50% of it as well. This character, I've just built them all into tanks, and I still am struggling with some of the bosses that they have. So I don't know how you would possibly beat some of them without those.
Okay, good. I don't know either. I'm not good at JRPGs. I'm like one bad fight away from changing to easy mode for the rest of the game. So.
Yeah, I literally just put in easy mode the second I turned on the game because I heard it had a hard curve to the difficulty, and I thought that was the perfect difficulty the entire game. I was very content with how difficult it already was. It felt like I was playing it on normal. Anyway, so you're fighting CL in the arena. I guess she wasn't that serious about the expedition. She's not as patriotic or whatever you want to call Lune.
She's pretty chill.
Have fun.
She's like, well, you ask her like, why did you wind up here? And she's like,
I'm just kind of here till I
hanging out. Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, hanging out with Gestuals for a year before you gommage, that's a pretty good life.
There's worse ways to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, back at the camp after all of this, and CL joins you. Mael and
before we join here, super cool thing found out is depending on who you use in the arena fights here, changes what you get at the end.
Okay.
So I don't know who I use Mael, both playthroughs because she gets the most amazing sword that starts you out in Virtuoso stance. And Virtuoso stance is 200% damage, and it is a game changer of a weapon.
What?
I never really engaged with her stance.
Why would they even let you use other people?
Mael, my first playthrough, I
want that.
Yeah, my first playthrough, I really I struggled to figure out Mael's mechanic and all that kind of stuff. Second playthrough, I was like, I'm gonna try to learn it. She is.
Oh, she's a monster.
She has
fantastic.
Really?
Once you get her leveled up and everything unlocked, especially there's a mechanic coming later, the gradient attacks. When you max that out, she is unstoppable. You can I think my current record for damage dealt in one go was over 5 million. And yeah,
it's a lot of damage.
It was with Mael. So yeah, dealt over 5 million damage to one opponent, and I was like, why didn't I use her before?
What is happening? Okay, well, I just completely didn't engage because it was too complicated for me, I guess.
She is.
Yeah, well,
she's worth it.
Yeah. The reason I bring this up is because this is another thing I love. This is kind of I don't want to say nostalgic component because I haven't really seen it before, but this game is just so laden with little Easter eggs. If you don't know about it, you're going to completely miss it. And it reminds me of just kind of experiencing video games collectively, especially in high school, middle school. And it's oh, did you know this was there? Did you know this was there? Did you try this? And then it really brings back those mechanics in games instead of being so hand-holdy.
Yes.
So cool.
Newer ones, which I
genuinely mad that you have that sword and I don't.
There's there's one of those little Easter egg secrets in the manor that I didn't know about until I saw a video online, and I was like, what? And I went and checked it out. But I won't tell you this episode. We'll wait till later, let you try to find it out on your own. But there is one that it's very much intentionally designed to feel like an old game, the way that you find it. And I was just like, thank you. This is, it made me so happy.
And did you find it like an old game, or did you see it online?
I saw it online. That's how I never would have crossed my mind.
Best of both worlds. Yeah. It felt like an old game, but get the answer spoon-fed to you.
The only reason, I saw a video of it, saw them do it, and I was like, what? And went and turned on the game and went there and I was like, oh, I love this. It's the dumbest thing in the world. It's so small and just inconsequential, but it made me so happy.
Okay, cool. All right, so back at camp, Mael enters this black-white space. So I think this is why previously when they did a black-white space, they had special camera directing to be able to denote that that's different from what this is, which is great directing. So she looks at a white-haired masked woman with a melted face. Is that correct to say? Probably. Yes, it is. So she reaches for Mael, I think at her face, but yeah. So a man, he told Alicia to stay home, so she has defied him, and she points at Mael defiantly. It's her fault, and she doesn't know it. But he says Alicia can't be there. He says Mael also should not have come, and will only make things worse for everyone, her friends and everyone. So does he care about them? I don't know. But he's really interested in killing them, so why is he interested in her staying home to not hurt them? Maybe he wants them to just gommage casually. So he offers Mael her only warning to leave with her friends, go gommage peacefully, or else. And we know what the or else is. It's getting decapitated like Alan.
You get chopped off.
And like a truck. And so the stakes are raised again.
Is this the first time we hear his cane noise?
I don't know.
You hear it on the
on
the beach.
Do you hear it on the beach? I couldn't
yeah.
remember if you hear it on the beach. His cane noise, I cannot get enough of it. It is just so
I missed it. What does it
spooky.
sound like?
So it's like, it sounds like you're like hitting
Replicate
a
it
cane
perfectly
in
with your mouth, Tucker.
I
I like the wind up when you were like about to do that. No, I'm not going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I could tell what noise was going to come out of my mouth, and it was not even going to be close. No, but it sounds like you're hitting like a cane in like a really big, echoey room. And so
Okay,
it's just
so
like,
that's the sound that I think I was describing when they first get to the beach. It was like the sound of like a reverberating knocking sound.
Mm-hmm.
That must have been his cane.
That's his cane.
yeah, okay, that's his cane. Okay, I thought you were talking about like the clicking from like, it kind of sounds like the Predator.
Well, no, so the clicking predator sound was the hands later.
Yeah.
But when they first get to the beach and we're
Okay,
getting
yeah,
those
I thought
Dutch
you were-
angles
yeah.
and the jump cuts, those jump cuts were being intercut with the sound of what we now know is his cane.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know what it
yeah,
was.
Can't get enough of that because it is, I don't know, it just is so soul piercing.
It's
anytime you hear it.
once you, yeah, like
Sound design is amazing.
so good. And once you like understand that's what it is, at certain points in the game, like as you go on, anytime you hear it, it like kind of makes your blood run cold a little bit. Where you're like, uh-oh.
Ooh, here comes Andy Serkis.
It's a Pavlovian response that they train you from, like since that beginning scene. Like, guess what? You're about to get decapitated. That is amazing direction. Yeah. I love that. All right, so she goes to strike at him, and that cuts away from this space, and she suddenly has her sword in hand, and everybody's wondering what's going on, and this scene is over at the camp. So at this point, we go to meet Esquie. So there's a Gestural blocking the way, and guess who has to get this Gestural out of the way? It's Gustav.
Okay, also, number one, you have to learn the password to get him out of the way, and that's the whole reason you do the arena fights, and it is the best password.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're doing the arena fights in the Gestural village to get the password, and then the chief lady or the chef, I suppose, gives you the password, and she says to yell, "Get out of my way!" like at the top of your lungs because he's hard of hearing. And so they get there, and like Mael and Lune and Salem, they're just kind of like. They're like, you've got the loudest voice, and they're all kind of like bumping elbows with you know, just like, let's make Gustav do it. And so Gustav gets up there and just screams in this Gestral's face, like, get out of my way. And the Gestral's like, oh, dude, like, don't need to yell. Sorry, man. Like, just gets out of the way. And then watching Gustav like try to explain himself, he's like, no, because the password and they said I'm sorry. Like, it's great. I love it.
Comedy bit is just so fantastic.
Like,
yeah, but they have short-term memory, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so he'll forget it tomorrow.
Apparently, you can do this to people with dementia too. I don't.
Yeah, it's totally
that's
fine.
What they're telling me. anybody with Finding Dory disease,
Yeah.
as they call it in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's like the movie Memento. I don't know what you're talking about. It's like Finding Dory disease. Oh, now I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're gonna have to silently grit your teeth while I go through this next part, because you meet Esquie, and I'm gonna word vomit. Logorrhea, right? Like, that's what this is.
All right,
So
get ready.
I'm gonna describe him.
Rhea all over our logs. Should have said that the other way around. Yeah.
Pass.
Pull out your logs. Here comes the log.
Do you ever say something and then as soon as it comes out of your mouth, you're like, shoot.
Uh-oh. Okay.
All right, everybody, that's it for me. I'm going to go. I'll see you.
So his visage is it's an African-inspired mask filtered through French primitivism. So the face's stylization, minimal eyes, geometric nose, and bold paint strokes. This echoes how French modernists like Picasso, Derain, probably Middlegan. Okay, I don't know how to do that sound. Appropriated French
Is this
mask
Eric reading
forms.
these names?
Probably. I think
Who is
it's
that, me?
Italian.
Yeah.
Middlegiani. I think it's Modigliani. Like it's a y sound, but it's a hard sound to do.
I'll be
They
the judge of that.
appropriated a y sound. It's also a Portuguese letter. It doesn't exist in our language. So I do know how to do it, at least. They appropriated African mask forms in the early 20th century. So out of that comes liturgical sunburst motif. Liturgical meaning related to formal public worship. So you got these sunburst motifs coming out of that. These radiating beams around the head resemble rayonette halo monstrance. That's douchey to say. Designs common to
That's
Catholic.
douchey to say.
Yeah.
Because up until now, you've been totally...
Keep gritting your teeth, especially in Baroque reliquaries. Altar.
I stopped
pieces.
listening to everything.
Okay. All right. So his fabric is best described as a ceremonial brocade. Brocade being a rich fabric woven with a raised pattern, typically woven with gold or silver thread, and a damask, which is a figured woven fabric with a pattern visible on both sides, typically used for table linen and upholstery, with golden Art Deco patterning, cut and stuffed into a form of oversized baggy liturgical vestments. It deliberately mixes religious opulence with architectural patterning of the French Belle Epoque and Art Deco era. All right. Have you?
That's
have
exactly
you
how I
thrown
would
up
say
in your
it.
mouth
That's
yet?
what I was going to say, yeah. As you were saying that, I was like, yep, all of this. That's I had this all in my notes, word for word.
Okay. So I wanted to point that out because I think these designers are trying to express something with his visualization, and because it's very creative. And I just wanted to give plaudits by doing my best to describe whatever it was that inspired them. So what do you think?
It has this, I like the word opulence. It has this like sort of
That's
like
the one you know.
child. Well, yes. Is that not a normal word to know?
That one is, yeah.
I feel like that's like most people know opulence, right? But it's like this childlike opulence where he's this big kind of goober of a teddy bear, but he's also like ornate and fancy and has this like slightly religious almost kind of design to him.
Yes, that's what it is, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's delightful.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of. I'm gonna, not be as pretentious.
Liturgical.
High-minded. as
Liturgical,
Shan.
yeah.
That's what I said.
It's very much like Baymax from Big Hero 6.
Yeah,
It's
right.
just this, yeah.
But French.
Much better. You should have just said that, Shan. Yeah,
Yeah, but
it's French Baymax.
Yeah.
He's like a French Baymax.
If Baymax was a character in Hunchback of Notre Dame,
That's what it is.
That's Esquie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Gosh, you're so good at describing things, Lundy.
It's not
You just
words.
painted a picture
Such
in my
few
mind,
words.
Lundy.
Yeah.
I'm better at words than Lundy. Lundy's a better person. Right. So, anyway, so clearly, like, his face is like denoting like a religious undertone, and like he's how do I put it? Like, it's like that's what he's supposed to be, and how people are supposed to perceive him, but that's just a mask of what he's supposed to be. And we have heard, like, Lune has already expressed, like, there have been fairy tales of what this creature is, and he's special, he's mythological, he's bigger than life. They've heard about him since Lumiere. But you undercut that with the opulence and the grotesque laziness of his baggage, and that is expressed with these like rolling body, like these body rolls that are underneath all of that. And so I just think like there's a lot of fantastic visual storytelling that's going on with this design, and I love it.
Yeah, I like that he's this big giant body with like super round giant body with a little teeny tiny head that doesn't have a neck really. It's just kind of like smacked on top of this giant round body with these big like lolloping gorilla arms, and then these little teeny tiny like legs that come to it. There, he doesn't have feet. They like come to a point. They're just like these, and it just like he looks. I'm looking over here at a picture of him now. I just pulled it up, and it's just I just his character design is just it's delightful. I have no bad things to say about it. I think he's
very creative.
He's a great combination of like super creative and hilarious and endearing, and I think it's greatly aided also by the way he talks. The voice actor, I didn't look it up, but I love this voice actor. I think he's got this like lazy kind of a tone to everything that he says, where you get this sense of like power from him, but he's also kind of silly and lazy, and I love it. The voice actor conveys that perfectly.
Yeah, he feels like he's lifted out straight out of like a 70s or 80s fantasy movie. Like, it feels like we haven't had a straight up creative, fantastical creature like this since like the Never-Ending Story or something like that, right? Like, this is awesome.
He also has an interesting, like, almost omnipotence to him. There's some foreshadowing, some mystery that he sets when you first meet him. Whereas they're kind of walking up to him in his little like hot tub pool or whatever. He looks at CL and
just chilling.
Yeah, and he looks at CL and says, "Oh, hello again, my terrible swimmer friend." And she's like, "How have we met? Like, how do you know that I don't like the water?" And it's just kind of like this, the question's not answered there, but it foreshadows at some things that, you may learn later.
Yeah,
right.
And then
So
he
she also has
infuriatingly just
mystery
kind of
about her.
Yes,
Yeah.
CL has mystery about her as well. A lot of the characters do, which I love. Like, it gives them depth and it makes you want to learn more about their backstory and more about them.
So Esquie, he needs Flory the Rock to help carry all of them because it's just too much baggage. But unfortunately, Flory the Rock was stolen by his arch nemesis Francois. This is like, it's a classic like story element from any like. You need something, but something stands in your way. You have to go on a mission of great length to be able to unlock it, right? But fantastic subversion. It's actually his neighbor who has Flory the Rock, and it's like right over there. Like
it's literally next door. It's just like in the same cave, one door down. Like
yeah, not much of a distraction to the story. But
there's not even enemies in between there and there. You talk to Esquie and then you just like walk down there in 30 seconds and then you're like, "Hi, Francois."
Yeah. And Francois is an ice rock turtle with like this grudge and just like a vicious attitude.
So Francois,
it's kind of a meanie.
So out of the characters that I've encountered so far, Esquie and Francois are my two favorite characters. I love that Francois is just like super pissy, like rock turtle, and he just gets so mad at everything, and then you're like, well, come and get me. And he's like, I'm frozen. I can't do it. He's just this cantankerous little grump. And I want to pick him up and squeeze him. I love it.
Yeah. And he roars at you when he decides to fight.
He goes, rah!
Okay, so this is like my favorite just camera because it just zooms in on this tiny rock face and it's just supposed to be intimidating, but it's just not.
But especially because like he's completely inert, like he can't move, and he's roaring at you.
Yeah.
And I love when it does his attack. The text like comes up on the screen that says like Francois has the most powerful ice attack or whatever. It's this like like I love it.
Yeah, after this attack and you get the rock, it's on your way back. There's some dialogue that points out that Francois and Esquie are very different from Gestrals and Nevrons. Ciel posits that they came from another world, so maybe we have cosmic realms or something. But so we get the rock back to Esquie, but it's not his rock, we find out. So we have to go figure out where this rock is, and but he needs it because we also learned not only can he swim with it, but he can fly with it. So this rock, subverts physics. He can also go up into the sky with it. It's a very fantastical element. Yeah. And he used to use it with his best friend Verso, but we don't know who that is. So we gotta head to the Stone Wave Cliffs with Esquie, and that's where we're gonna end for today. Anything else you want to talk about?
I had one tiny tidbit that I didn't. It's a short thing. It's not like a big discussion. Yeah. I didn't know where else to insert it, but it is a weird little detail that I noticed. So at the beginning of the game, when the characters are gommaged and they like turn into dust and flower petals and they drift away.
They didn't gommage themselves, for the record.
They didn't gommage themselves. They let other people gommage for them, and so. But they're. Yeah, it's always better when someone else gommages you.
It's it's the ethical way to do it.
I don't even remember what I was talking about. Hang on, let me. I got gommage on the brain. You know how it is. So their character models, when they're disintegrating into petals, they have a very specific animation of like their faces and their character models deteriorating away and then turning into petals. And I noticed that normally in video games, if you like stand your character really close to a wall and then you position the camera so that it would normally clip through the character, then a lot of games will do an effect where it'll make the character invisible, or it'll have them like partially invisible, or it'll cut through them in a certain way so that the camera's not like sitting inside of the character model and you see the backsides of their teeth and the inside of their eyeballs and like weird stuff in the character model. And in this game, I noticed that when you do that, it has the same visual disintegration effect that happens in the gommage. I don't know if that has any kind of pertinence to the story. I'm not far enough in. I don't know if they just did that for all of the character models across the board, so that like if they needed to be gommaged, that it was just like a system built into the game so that any character could be if they needed to. Yeah, like when they disappear.
Gommage.
Oh, gommage. What did I say?
Oh. Are you saying gommage because of fromage?
Probably. I probably just without thinking about it. But
fromage.
Okay, everybody knows that reference, right? For Dexter's Laboratory.
Of course.
Because, it took me all of 2 seconds to come up with that. Apparently, I'm really good at French puns too. Like, it's a gift. What can I say? But omelette du gommage. Okay, that's an excellent title. Please like, comment, subscribe. Please follow us. Please watch everything that we do. There's just going to be more of this.
If only to see Shan's excellent titles. Yeah.
But yes, okay. So if you don't know, because you're not a millennial of exactly our age, in the '90s there was a cartoon on Cartoon Network, which called Dexter's Laboratory. This boy genius. And he wanted to focus on all the things that he thought was important, but he needed to study for French. So instead of doing that, he decides to procrastinate, and then he used one of his existing inventions at the last minute. He puts this cap on himself as he's sleeping to teach himself French as he's sleeping, and he puts this record on it, but it starts skipping the second that he goes to sleep. And the only thing it teaches him is the phrase omelette du fromage, omelette du fromage. And so the next morning, that's the only thing he can say. So his sister Didi just torments him relentlessly, and it's the undoing of him at school and everything. It's his, like his hubris is always his undoing. That's like usually the moral of his story. But that's not even the best episode. That is an excellent cartoon. But I think the Ghost Fish is the best episode.
I haven't watched Dexter's Lab in a minute. I should watch it again as a grown-up. I bet I'd love it.
It's so great, you know. And it's what's his name? Gendy Tartovsky that did that.
Who's that? Please tell me.
He did. I think he did. He might. No, actually, I don't think he did Powerpuff Girls, but he did Samurai Jack. He did
which was ironically referenced in this episode already.
And he did the first Clone Wars, like the 2D Clone Wars cartoon. And he did. There's another one called.
He's got this style with like those harsh, kind of sharp lines. Yeah.
He did one called Primal, I think. It's about like a.
Ooh, Primal rules! I didn't know that was him. I love that show.
Yeah. So he's done some really, really cool, interesting things. Like just phenomenal, like animator and yeah. So.
And to know that off the top of your head, you must be really into animated shows, which has not come up before.
I didn't know Lundy liked animated shows.
Sarcasm.
I watch a lot of cartoons.
Cartoons are better than not cartoons.
Yeah, and comics. For the record, that also comes up a lot.
Yeah.
You know what else
Which is
comes
why
up
Lundy
a lot?
joined us for Spider-Man.
Yeah. You know what else comes up a lot that hasn't come up yet this episode?
Huh.
JRPG. Turn-based.
What is it? Is it Legend of Dragoon?
It is, yeah.
Hey! We couldn't have an episode without
It's
bringing
like,
up
say the
Legend of
line,
Dragoon.
Bart.
But seriously, like, people listening to this, if you like old school JRPGs that are kind of like Clair Obscur, but not at all like Clair Obscur, play Legend of
something
Dragoon.
even far more obscure.
Also Sea of Stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legend of Dragoon,
For the record,
Sea of Stars.
another fantastic French pun, but...
All right, I think we're just making
that
jokes
it?
at each
I
other now.
That's why people are here for us. Plus, we ended far earlier than we ever have for a full year. So anyway, please
Maybe
like,
that's a
comment,
good
subscribe,
thing.
and you can find us wherever you find podcasts. Join us next week. Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Outro. Bleepy-doof, bleepity, bloopity, blow.